Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, the actor Ricky Tomlinson has called for an investigation into why police secretly monitored his political activities, saying a file on him should be handed over. And he wants his case to be included in Lord Pitchford's inquiry into the way undercover police infiltrated hundreds of political groups since 1968.
He's been a regular feature on screens for the last 30 years.
Call yourselves men, eh? And you want to give away your trade union rights?
Ricky Tomlinson made his name in the 80s as trade unionist Bobby Grant in Brookside, going on to star as Jim Royal.
And I just hope he's got his mother's brains.
The indolent patriarch in the royal family, alongside the late Carolina Hearn. But he began life as a labourer. In the early 70s, a period of huge industrial strife, he was part of a group of labourers who picketed building sites in Shrewsbury. Although picketing was not illegal, he was later sentenced to 2 years in prison in 1973 for conspiracy to intimidate. Along with another trade union activist, Des Warren, they were dubbed the Shrewsbury Two. He always believed his arrest and conviction were politically motivated, and he says he wants the government to release all the papers on his case to prove the influence of the Tory government of the day. Ricky Tomlinson also wants his case to be included in an inquiry examining how undercover police units spied on political activists, a call which has already been rejected on the grounds there's not enough evidence. Ricky Tomlinson says he won't give up.
And Ricky Tomlinson joins me now from Salford. Ricky Tomlinson, thanks very much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Why are you so convinced that you were spied on by undercover police officers?
Why am I convinced? I've actually spoken to the man who spied on me. I've actually spoken via video link to a man called Tony Robinson, who was from MI5, and he was seconded to look into me. I've also got here a file that if anyone from the Northwest wants to know whether they're on the blacklist, this is one of the original files made by the Economic League, and I've managed to get a hold of it. There's thousands and thousands of names in here of ordinary working class people who are here. My name's in it, my address is in it, my national insurance number's in it. We were spied upon from day one, and we used to know because we used to set traps for them. We'd say to a certain amount of lads who we could trust, now tomorrow we're going to pick it so-and-so, so-and-so and so-and-so, when we weren't going at all, but the next day there would be a patrol of police there.
And yet you've been told that your case at the moment won't be included in Lord Pitchford's inquiry.
Yeah, we've been, so of course. They don't, listen, I'm 77 in a couple of weeks. 77. Never been in trouble with the police since. Been very, very lucky. Got myself a nice little career, lead a middle-class life. But some of them lads paid for years and years and years of unemployment because they were picked upon. Now, don't forget, we weren't out every week or every month or every 12 months. That was the one and only ever official building strike. And it lasted for 13 weeks. And the police were with us on the day all this mayhem is supposed to have happened. Not 10, not 20 police, between 60 and 80 policemen with them. No one was arrested, no one was cautioned, no one had a name and address taken. And then after 15 weeks, they came to me, two detectives, and said, look, we know your background, we want you to be a prosecution witness. I said, how could I be a prosecution witness? I was in charge of the Wrexham area. I gave the orders. I sorted it out. I said where we were going and where we weren't going. How can I be a prosecution witness? So they said, OK, then what we'll do, we'll prosecute you. And let me just tell you this. I've got photographs with me. I hope you'll invite me back sometime to show you them. It had the biggest police presence of any case I've ever seen. And I'm talking about the Richardsons, the Crays, the IRA bombers. The police were there. There was 4,000 police on duty, shoulder to shoulder, round the courtroom.
As everyone knows, you've made a fantastic career out of acting since then.
Yeah.
There will be many people who say it was a very long time ago.
It was.
Why don't you give up, move on?
Well, I'll tell you for why. I'll tell you for why. See this here? I don't know whether you can see this here. That's my mate. See the lad in the middle with me and Arthur Scargill? That's Desi Warren, who went into jail with me, a huge 6 foot strapping young man who was a steel fixer, and that's him. After the liquid cosh and the injections, they killed him. And let me tell you this, I didn't serve me time and get parole and come out. They threw me out. They physically had to throw me out because they didn't want to go. I said, no, I'm serving me time. And people came in jail to see me and said, you've got to go. They're frightened of Desi dying in jail. He died. We
don't know the details of Desi's case, Ricky.
I do. He died of chemically induced Parkinson's.
Tell me what it was like for you personally to live through that period.
Well, it was awful. It was awful, but I come from a good family. I didn't have to worry about my children because I had a wonderful wife who looked after them. I had a tremendous mate, Billy Burns, who'd done all the running, fetching and carrying. But for years, you see, or for months and months rather, I was what they call on the blanket. We wouldn't wear clothes, we wouldn't work, we wouldn't do nothing. So when you're on the blanket, you don't have visits. But then I got a visit one day when I was in Leicester by the governor who said, you've got a visit tomorrow. And I said, well, I don't have visits, I don't wear clothes. He said, no, you've got to. Yeah,
Ricky, I know, sorry, to move you on to something else, just very briefly. Obviously, you've remained very involved with politics. We've just had the big EU referendum. You voted out. Why?
I did vote out because I remember as a young man, there was plenty of work, there was jobs for the taking. There was jobs for the taking. And then all of a sudden it changed. There's people now, there's families in Liverpool now who've never worked. That's mother and husband and children. Never worked. There's no work. There's absolutely no work. And why will there be when they can employ people?
But what about all the money that places like Liverpool got from the EU?
What about all the money they paid into it? What about all the money they paid in? No one talks about that. Listen, we've got a great city, we've got a great country, and I do think we can stand on our own 2 feet. I really do, but we've let the steel industry go, we've let the film industry go, we've let all sorts of industries go because it's cheaper to import.
And Ricky, I have to ask you, before you go, you lost Caroline Aherne, a very good friend of yours this year. That's been tough, hasn't it?
She's been wonderful. She was absolutely wonderful. She was a treasure. She was what everyone said about her. She was absolutely wonderful, and she made me a household name, and I'll never forget her for it. She was absolutely wonderful.
Ricky Tomlinson, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry to have to...
That's my prison number, by the way, kid. Political prisoner.
573 143. Thanks very much.
Thank you.